As the world mourns Pope Francis, history's most secretive transfer of power begins. White smoke, the path to a new pope, guides you through this momentous transition. We explain exactly what happens next, leading to the dramatic conclave vote. Learn how each ritual unfolds, what each tradition means, and why these ancient ceremonies still matter today. Follow along as the throne of St. Peter stands empty and a new chapter in church history begins. White Smoke, available wherever you get your podcasts.
Which country consumes the most coffee per person? Italy? Colombia? Somewhere else? I'm Mark Ellison, and on 5 daily trivia questions, I deliver fascinating facts and surprising statistics every weekday. Whether you're a history buff, science geek, or pop culture fanatic, there's something for everyone. 5 daily trivia questions, and the biggest coffee drinkers, it's Finland, with the average Finn consuming over 26 pounds of coffee annually. 5 daily trivia questions.
Calaroga Shark Media.
At 7:35 a.m. on Monday, April 21st, 2025, the unthinkable happened. Just one day after blessing thousands of faithful from the balcony of St. Peter's Basilica, Pope Francis, the 266th successor to St. Peter, returned to the Father. The man who had led the Catholic Church for 12 transformative years was gone. This is White Smoke, the path to a new pope. Over the coming episodes, we'll guide you through one of history's most elaborate and secretive transfers of power, a process now unfolding before our eyes. The contrast couldn't be more stark. On Easter Sunday, Pope Francis appeared before a crowd of 35,000 faithful in St. Peter's Square. Though frail and speaking in a weak, raspy voice, he offered the traditional Easter greeting. "Dear brothers and sisters, Happy Easter," he said, as the crowd roared with approval. "Long live the Pope," they cheered, unaware that these would be among his final public words. Francis had defied his doctor's orders to rest, following a 5-week hospital stay, where he had battled life-threatening pneumonia. Just hours before appearing on the balcony, he had met with US Vice President J.D. Vance. As they exchanged Easter greetings, Vance remarked, "I know you've not been feeling great, but it's good to see you in better health." The next morning, Cardinal Kevin Farrell made the announcement that stunned the world. With the Pope's death, an ancient and meticulously choreographed process began immediately. Cardinal Farrell, an Irish-American who held the position of Camerlengo, the Chamberlain of the Holy Roman Church, suddenly became one of the most powerful figures in the Vatican. The Camerlengo's role, largely ceremonial during a pope's lifetime, becomes vital during the sede vacante, the period when the seat of St. Peter is vacant. Peter stands empty. Following tradition, Cardinal Farrell would have approached the Pope's body and called out his baptismal name 3 times. The silence that followed officially confirmed the Pope's death. Then comes one of the Church's most ancient rituals. The Camerlengo takes a small silver hammer and gently taps the Pope's forehead 3 times. This ceremony, once used to ensure the pontiff wasn't merely in a coma, remains part of the protocol, though modern medical science has already confirmed the death. With trembling hands, the Camerlengo then removes the ring of the fisherman from the Pope's finger, the solid gold signet ring that has served as the papal seal. This ring will later be destroyed, struck through with a deep X-shaped cut to ensure no documents can be falsely sealed during the interregnum. Within hours of Francis's death, Rome began to transform. Marco Volpi, who had seen the Pope bless the crowd on Easter, expressed the shock felt by many. "We saw him yesterday. We did not expect such a tragic ending." His mother, Maria Teresa Volpi, added, "He was one of us, one of the people. He was everyone's Pope." As word spread, the faithful and curious alike converged on St. Peter's Square. Visitors from around the world changed their plans to be present at this historic moment. The mood was somber, yet the square maintained its surreal blend of mourning and tourism, vendors hawking trinkets alongside groups clutching rosaries in prayer. Behind the scenes, the Vatican machinery entered a controlled shutdown. The Pope's apartment was sealed, computer access restricted, papers secured. The Vatican website added the Latin words "sede vacante," the seat is vacant. While day-to-day governance continues under the College of Cardinals, no new bishops can be appointed, no major decisions made. The Cardinal Secretary of State, Pietro Parolin, maintains diplomatic functions, while Cardinal Farrell oversees the temporal goods of the Church. But the machinery of the world's oldest continuing institution slows to a near halt. Tonight, Cardinal Farrell will preside over the rite to certify Pope Francis's death and place his body in a coffin at 8 p.m. local time. The faithful will soon have the opportunity to pay their respects as the Pope's body lies in state in St. Peter's Basilica. What follows is a precisely timed sequence known as the Novem Dies, 9 days of mourning that blend public grief with private preparation. Meanwhile, telegrams have been sent to all cardinal electors around the world. Their journey to Rome must begin immediately. The Dean of the College of Cardinals has called for the First General Congregation, a meeting where all cardinals begin discussions about the challenges facing the Church and, implicitly, the qualities needed in the next pope. Even as the world mourns, the politics of succession begin. Who might lead the Church into its next era? These discussions are technically forbidden before the conclave begins, but as one Vatican insider once noted, the next pope is chosen by the Holy Spirit, but the Holy Spirit works through whispered conversations over pasta. Messages of condolence have poured in from world leaders across the political spectrum. King Charles III, who met with the Pope just days before his death, said Francis will be remembered for his compassion, his concern for the unity of the Church, and for his tireless commitment to the common causes of all people of faith. French President Emmanuel Macron wrote that, from Buenos Aires to Rome, Pope Francis wanted the Church to bring joy and hope to the poorest. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni described him as a great man, while Philippine President Ferdinand Marcos Jr. said Francis led not only with wisdom, but with a heart open to all, especially the poor and the forgotten. Perhaps the most poignant reminder of Francis's impact came from Archbishop Timothy Broglio, president of the US Conference of Catholic Bishops, who said, Pope Francis will long be remembered for his outreach to those on the margins of the Church and of society.
In a world of smartphones and quantum computing, the fate of nations rests on technology from the past. Calaroga Shark Media presents a new podcast, Pager Protocol, a 10-part espionage thriller that will change the way audiences see the world. As an unusually large shipment of pagers makes its way to a volatile region, CIA analyst Sarah Miller grows suspicious. Meanwhile, in Zion City, Nexus director Amos Ben David sets a daring plan in motion. Agent Eli Cohen is tasked with a mission that could determine the fate of his nation and reshape the entire region. Pager Protocol is available now wherever you get your podcasts.
In many ways, Francis's last public message encapsulated his 12-year papacy. In his Easter address, read by Archbishop Diego Ravelli as the Pope sat silently, he urged people to show solidarity with one another, break down divisive barriers, and resist the logic of fear. How much contempt is stirred up at times towards the vulnerable, the marginalized, and migrants, the message stated. I would like all of us to hope anew and to revive our trust in others, including those who are different than ourselves. It was a fitting final testament from a pope who had consistently championed the poor, the refugees, and the marginalized. In the coming days, millions will queue for hours to view the Pope's body lying in state. The funeral mass, one of the most watched ceremonies in the world, will likely be held 4 to 6 days after death. Unlike his predecessors, Francis had stated he did not wish to be laid to rest in the crypt of St. Peter's, though his final resting place has not yet been announced. After the funeral and burial comes what many consider the most fascinating period, the conclave itself. For at least 15 days, but no more than 20, the church exists without a visible head. During this time, Rome will fill with cardinals from around the world preparing for the most secretive election process on earth. In this series, we've already taken a look at what happens when a pope dies. Please consider listening to this series from episode 1 if you haven't already. Concurrently, we'll be bringing you daily episodes as this story unfolds. White Smoke is a production of Calaroga Shark Media. Executive producers Mark Francis and John McDermott. AI narration was used in the help of creating this series.